What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so in this video, I want to talk about the early leaders in the All-Star voting. And so far, it's early, and these things are subject to change. But right now, Luka Doncic is narrowly leading Giannis overall in All-Star voting. And the only players to have 1 million votes so far are Luka, Giannis, and LeBron James. Anthony Davis is close to it. He's at 955,000 votes. But this is going to change because usually these guys end up with well over 2 million votes, like the leading vote getter. So these things are going to change. These numbers are going to change. The rankings are going to change. But right now, the official numbers that I saw had Luka at 1 million, a little bit under 1,074,000 to lead all voters. Of course, lead the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, Giannis is the vote leader, but he trails Luka overall by only 570 votes. He's over 1,073,000. So it's very close as far as who's going to be the overall leader. LeBron James had 1,020,000 votes for third overall, and like I said, Anthony Davis was fourth overall. Now, trying to go off memory here, I think guys like James Harden, I think he's like at 750,000 votes. I think Kawhi is like at 720,000 votes. I think in the East, I think Joel Embiid was at 600,000 votes. But once you pass those guys, it's a real dramatic drop off. I think there's a few guys in the East with 400,000 votes, like Kyrie Irving comes to mind. Jimmy Butler's another one that comes to mind. I can't think of the other guys off the top of my head right now. In the West, it's a tremendous drop off after those guys I named. I think Paul George is at like 280,000 votes. One thing that hurt a little bit if you're Russell Westbrook is he narrowly trails Steph Curry, who's I think only played in 5 games this year. But he trails him I think it was like 191,000 for Curry, a guy who hasn't played since October. And then you have Russell Westbrook at 189,000. But anyway, this vote I think just represents a growing trend, which is the transition of the NBA to younger talent. While you still have LeBron James playing at a high level, all right. The emergence of Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Milwaukee Bucks and Luka Doncic with the Dallas Mavericks could be a very intriguing rivalry in years to come. Luka is, of course, more of a perimeter-oriented guy, while Giannis is the league's most dominant post player. I think Joel Embiid would take exception to that, but Joel Embiid has not been as dominant this year overall as Giannis has been. Luka's in the Western Conference. Giannis is in the Eastern Conference. So while they won't play each other as often in the regular season as if they were conference foes, they could potentially meet up in the NBA Finals in the future, which of course is the payola for the NBA, which is the NBA Finals, where they really make a lot of money, get a lot of ratings. Magic versus Bird, not exactly, but there would be that racial element, and the NBA and sports knows that. Sports, is very they're acutely aware of the racial element when it comes to rivalry in sports. Anybody that wants to deny it is either being disingenuous or they're flat out lying. Well, actually, that is being disingenuous, or they're just being ignorant. That's what I want to say. But you know, as far as like this All-Star game is concerned, I would just want a competitive game I'm sick of watching these games where there's no defense play whatsoever, and it's just a bunch of alley oops and dunks. That gets that's very tedious to watch if you're a sports fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. Look, it's an all-star game, so it's an exhibition. So you're not. I don't expect these guys to sit there and play like it's the Detroit Pistons of 2004 versus the Pacers. I don't know. I want a entertaining, high-scoring game. But anytime that a team flirts with 200 points in an All-Star game, that should be the case. I mean, I get 150, 160, but 190, there's no defense being played. You know, I don't know. It is what it is. But as far as this season concerned for these guys, Luka, the Dallas Mavericks, I think it's more of a surprise that they are where they are now, which I think they're fifth in the Western Conference behind the Clippers. I think the conference is Lakers at number one. I think Denver's number two. I think Houston's third right now. The Clippers have fallen to fourth, following that terrible loss they took to the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think Dallas is fifth. There was speculation as to whether or not Dallas would make the playoffs this year. So Luka Doncic to me has been a breakaway player, and I even wonder if he is in the running for most improved player. Not to say that he wasn't sensational his rookie year, but I don't think anybody expected him to put the numbers he's putting up this year. You know, I was expecting him to put up more like, honestly, like 22, 7, and maybe 7, 6. I wasn't expecting to put up these type of numbers this year. I know some people said Pascal Siakam's in the league, but Pascal Siakam has been out for quite some time with a groin injury. So you do wonder if Luka might be able to win that award in his sophomore year. The sophomore jinx did not affect him. Giannis, on the other hand, has helped to almost single-handedly. Yeah, gotta give a nod to Coach Mike Budenholzer and his crew, and gotta give some credit to Chris Middleton and all the other guys, of course. But Giannis has helped to transform this franchise, which some of the Milwaukee Bucks, which has been pretty much a laughing stock since the very end of the 1980s. So for the past 30 years or so, Milwaukee has been one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. They had that one good year, 2001, where you had Glenn Big Dog Robinson, Sam Cassell, and Ray Allen. But for the most part, they've been a terrible team. It's not like they haven't had talent go through here over the past few years. They've had some talent, but they just wasn't able to put it all together and sustain it as far as the season's concerned. Um, but the last 2 years, the Milwaukee Bucks have lived up to their promise. And this year, they're proving that last year was not a fluke. Last year, the Milwaukee won 60 games, and they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, of course, they played against a team that had Kawhi Leonard at his absolute best, a team that is playoff tested. People forget that. And a team where it was essentially a swap for DeMar DeRozan in exchange for Kawhi Leonard. So that's a tremendous upgrade. And this team had a lot of playoff experience. So they were able to battle back from that 2-0 deficit and advance to the NBA Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks this year, number one record not only in the Eastern Conference but NBA overall, at 32-5. They're on pace to break the franchise record for most wins in the season. We'll have to see that that's the case. But we'll see what transpires with these two teams as the season progresses. But I think the NBA is going to be in good hands in the future. With guys like these, and Trae Young comes to mind, of course, Donovan Mitchell. Anthony Davis is still young. So when LeBron James and Kevin Durant and these players, Kawhi Leonard, when these guys start leaving the scene, the NBA would still be a very prosperous league, in my opinion. But tell me what you guys think.